I'll just cut the recap right now while they announce the winner of this fight. Because this one was over before it started, y'all, and then Steve Garcia, like that's gonna look bad on Onama, man. Like he's gonna definitely have a long road ahead of him. But this was super impressive on Steve Garcia's part, and yeah, crazy statement win by Steve Garcia. Let's see here. What we got here? Your winner by TKO, Steve Mean Machine Garcia. I'm here with Steve Garcia. Yeah, I mean, I'm not, yeah, like, I don't even, I'm just going to mute that real quick, bro. Literally, there's no reason, Steve Garcia beat that fool's ass. Anyway, so we got Talita Alencar versus Ariane Carnelosi. I seen how that one was going to go. Carnelosi came out strong in the first round, but Alencar was still able to tag her. Able to get a dominant position with the grappling towards the end of the round and keep it. Stole that round. Second round, more of the same. And then third round, started to take over more so. Caught Carnelosi again, and then was able to choke him out. So we got that one. That was great. Seok Hyun Ko, he got the decision victory over Phil Rowe. Exactly how I called it in the breakdown on Friday. He was just going to use his grappling. It's crazy. He doesn't have submissions on his record. But between the judo and the wrestling, he literally just controls guys and breaks them and opens up ground and pound, which is why he got TKO victories and stuff like that. But, he doesn't mind getting that decision too because he's literally just going to own you for 3 rounds. And that's what he did with Phil Rowe. So got that one. Elise Ardalian, she came out, got the decision over Montserrat Ruiz. It was close. She was close to finishing her, but Ruiz was just a dog and just kept pressing forward. Didn't enact any grappling, which I think was her downfall. So Ardalian got that one. Norma Dumont made us 4-0, so we started out the day 4-0. She got the split decision over Vieira, where like I was saying, it came down to the fact that she had 2 first half rounds, so she got the first half of each round with the stand up, where she was actually landing punishment, whereas Vieira would then get the takedowns in the second half of those 2 rounds, but she wasn't able to really do much punishment. And then in the third round, she wasn't able to secure any takedowns, and she wasn't able to secure any takedowns, and so then it was all on the feet, and that's when Norma Dumont kind of just took off the rest of the way with that one. So we started out 4-0, then we dropped 3. We lost the Dante Johnson versus Cedricus Dumas. Dumas came out doing a bunch of weird shit that kind of threw Dante Johnson off at first in the first round. But then in the second round, he just basically just muscled him around and was able to get the submission, which I'm sure was a crazy prop for people who bet on that. So shout out to them on their UFC debut. Timmy Kawamba was able to weather the early storm of Chang Ho Lee, who came out grapple heavy throughout the fight, and just what after the first round just wasn't the same guy. Timmy Kawamba started taking over and not only getting the better of the grappling exchanges and reversing a lot of positions, but then also punishing him through the process. So shouts to Timmy Kawamba. Billy Alacana versus Kevin Christian. Christian came out, their UFC debut. They were trying to use their length to their advantage, but slowly and just gradually, Alacana was able to close distance and eventually caught Christian with one. And then on the way down, tagged him with a nasty hammer fist. And was able to just finish him from there with a submission where the referee, once again, like the officiating is going to take all the headlines on this one. The referee didn't see Christian's arm that was trapped by Alicana to, further, cement the submission. Dude was tapping with that hand. The referee was on the other side, did not see it. So instead of stopping the fight when homeboy literally started tapping, basically once it got locked in, I don't even think he wanted it to even go any further. He started tapping, but homeboy, wasn't paying attention, was on one side. The arm was kind of trapped, and he ended up letting that guy end up going out. So they had to wake him back up. Alicana gets the victory in that one. So we dropped 3 straight. Then we get back in the win column with Alan Nascimento getting the submission victory over Cody Durden. Durden came out strong in the first round. Kind of had Nascimento looking like, deer in the headlights, fighting real stiff. And then Nascimento started to open up a little bit more, caught Durden, and then was able to lock in the basically club and sub, locked in a submission shortly afterwards and had Durden tapping. Charles Radke came in, basically dominated Frunze all 3 rounds of this fight until he was able to finally sink in a rear naked choke that he had in the first round, which was crazy. I guess, Frunze, he was fresh just like Radke was, but it was just crazy because Radke had it locked in and Frunze just, was able to fight it off. But then in the third round, Radke, late in that third round was able to finally cinch it in, got him up out of there. So Radke got that, and that actually ended up cashing the parlay picks that I had made on the show. So, we had, like I said, 3 parlays, 3 pick, 4 pick, 5 pick, and a 6 pick, and they all cashed in if you followed them. So hopefully you followed them. Then we had the highlight of my night personally. We had Yadier Del Valle. He got the submission victory over Isaac Dolgarian in the first round, where literally Dolgarian he didn't get to do anything. Like he shot first, and Del Valle just reversed position and then just owned him from there and just maintained dominant position, and then eventually went for his own submission and got Dolgarian the fuck up out of there. It was one of the wildest things I ever seen. So that was super dope. We had Jeremiah Wells get a victory over Timba Garimbo, which gave me another L on the night, which we ended up going 9-4 on the night, but this one stung a little bit because Timba came out, doing his thing, good first round, gave up the last 10 seconds to Wells. Then Wells came out strong in the second round, gave up the last 10 seconds to Garimbo. So it was 1-1 going into the third round. And then, fucking Garimbo just started to fade. Wells took over and got the unanimous decision victory. So shouts out to Wells coming off a long layoff. 38, 39 years old, something like that, and able to make it happen. So, kudos to them. In the co-main event, bro, which, like I said, this is what's going to be the headline mostly for tonight's event, is what went down in this particular fight. We had a heavyweight matchup. We had Waldo Cortez Acosta going up against Ante Delia. We had first round, Delia came in there, and he was pressing forward, had Cortez Acosta circling around the cage mostly with his back up against it for the most part on his back foot. Delia shot in for a takedown. It wasn't successful. Then they got back, the open space. He again got Cortez Acosta, up against the cage, started opening up and was catching Cortez Acosta. Kind of had him look like he was shook for a little bit. And then in the midst of the exchange, he pokes him in the eye. Now, when you're watching it, live, you don't see it right away. So like all you see is Cortez Acosta just go like, oh, and the referee doesn't stop the action. So he's just like this. Delia starts opening up. So the referee, at first calls it a TKO victory. Cortez is protesting. The officials at ringside ask to see the replay. They play it back. At first, Mark Smith says he doesn't see anything, and then they play it back slow motion, and the broadcast team and the crowd can see it. And yes, you can see a clear eye poke, which is ironic, being that Delia is the teammate of Tom Aspinall who suffered eye pokes last week from Cyril Gahn in their heavyweight matchup headliner for the championship. And so he pokes Cortez Acosta in the eye. They call the fight. They stop it just for intermission. So you're starting to think that this is going to trend in the direction of a no contest. But then you hear the broadcast team say maybe they might start this fight over, and then they're like, well, no, we're getting word that this fight can't get started over. And then after everybody's in agreement that there was a foul, they ask Cortez Acosta what he wants to do. He says he can fight. So they're like, okay, well, if you want to fight, then we will restart this fight. We'll give you the 5 minutes, and when you tell us when you're ready, we'll start this fight over. So they go through that. He says he's ready. They start the fight over, and I'd say maybe 15, 20 seconds into restarting the fight over, fucking Cortez Acosta tags and flatlines fucking Delia. Finishes the fight TKO. Referee steps in, and then Cortez Acosta retreats to the cage and balls up again and starts holding his eye in what appears to be like him being in more pain than he was originally when he got poked in the eye. So it's just like, bruh, that was a fucking circus act right there. That shit was ridiculous. Unfortunate, because the officiating is going to take the headlines again over the performances, and they just got to start getting some things in place, man, because that was just too choppy. But that's how the co-main event ended, and then we go into the main event. I mean, that shit was I don't even know what you call that, man. Like, that was wild because this fight, on paper, you definitely just had to call it a toss up. Onama slight underdog going into the fight. Steve Garcia slight favorite. And they start the fight. I mean, literally, as soon as they started it, I mean, fucking Steve Garcia just pressed forward and he never looked back. And he just pressed forward, was throwing combinations, and didn't show Onama any respect. And literally, just at a certain point, Onama, because he wasn't able to get started, he just started, just standing there, and eventually, even though if he would have started opening it up, he very well could have started evening things up, and gaining some respect back. But it got to a point where I don't even know how to call this one, because it's like he never got started. So you don't know if it's just he was that overwhelmed and he was never supposed to be on Steve Garcia's level, or if he just got it was one of those things where before he could process anything, he started getting jawed for real, and it was over before it even begun type scenario. So Steve Garcia made very quick work of David Onama. But great night overall. Like I said, this wasn't a card for the casuals. This was definitely for the hardcore fans. And I think we got our money's worth. We got about 4 or 5 events left. I think we got 5 events left. No, yes, 5 events left now after this one. And then we'll go into that small break before we begin the new year. And in that time, UFC will have made its transition from ESPN over to Paramount. So that'll be dope. And yeah, we'll be watching these cards, no more pay-per-views. easier access, hopefully ad free, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But outside of that, y'all, please give me your thoughts on the officiating on the night. Please tell me what was your highlight of the night. Please tell me, what was your upset of the night. Just share your thoughts, everything in the comments.